All right, guys, I'm going to take you on a problem-solving journey with me today. I have a problem, and I've never done this before, but hopefully you and I can figure it out. These are the NC Miata rear hubs, left and right. Actually, I don't know which one is left or right, but these are the ones that are kind of scary, apparently. And these fail, and not only that, but the previous owner of this one did a number on the lugs, so that needs to change. Here are the new parts. We're changing the bearing in both of these with these super cool Mazda Motorsports bearings, and that's the part number right there for the bearings. And also these much thicker, much beefier rear hubs, hub flanges, and that is the part number for that. And we'll also be installing longer extended APR studs. So I think I prepared most of the tools that I need here for today. I've never done this before, but I think these come off the same way an RX-8 comes off. So I have my press over there, and this will be to push out the hub, this one from the other side. And then hopefully once that's done, I might be using these snap ring pliers to remove what I think is a circlip in there. And then this guy will be what we use to push out the bearing. So let's see if we can do this together. I'm gonna do it in real time, and wish me luck. So the race is still in there, but since we don't need this hub, it's just going to get tossed, so not going to bother taking that out. Alright, so you can tell it's kind of sketch, but once you knock it out, it isn't really that bad, I guess. But you have to see how to do this contraption with the 2x4, 4x4s. Okay, whoops. What am I dropping? Left and right, dropping stuff. Okay, so I took out the other one. Let me just put these guys back before I forget. And that, and this, and that. Okay. So let's see. This one, and you can see I already took this other one out, but I forgot to get it on video. So you can see here, this is the circlip, super dirty. That comes out. Now I believe we can push this bearing out that way. Okay, so I have this kind of tool here. It's a bushing tool, and it conveniently works. Oh no, I need more space. Okay. I know you can't see it because this thing's blocking it, but this is what I'm doing. So that bearing needs to be pushed out. We took the circlip out. Now this is a convenient little tool. Just center this guy. You can use like a big socket too if you want. And then I gotta do this with two hands, so I'll set you guys aside there. Ooh, this might be tricky. I might need this too. Oh, come on. Dude. There we go. Not my favorite task, working with presses. Especially oddball shapes like this. Okay. Let's take a look. Seems okay. Okay guys, I ran out of battery on the GoPro over there, so it kind of stopped, but it's kind of a good thing because it was a little trickier than I thought. So I got this one in, circlip and everything. So I'll show you guys how I did this one. I had to build this like contraption over here just to kind of get everything ready to go. But here's what I thought was interesting, and I don't usually install bearings, wheel bearings, so let me show you what I mean. Oops, I don't GoPro either. All right, so you see this bearing? What I thought was weird was how loose it is inside. So it's actually like a two-piece setup in the middle here, but I can like move this around. So this kind of, you see that? Anyway, just thought that was strange, but it's OEM. They're both like that, so I'm sure it's fine. Just wanted to point that out. And also, before I forget, here's a little trick when putting on, let me use two hands for this. When putting on these circlips. Okay. So okay. Oh, this was a lot easier 5 minutes ago. Okay. So when you're putting this on, let me just get this lined up better. Oh gosh, of course when you're on camera, none of this stuff works properly. Alright, so when you're putting this on, sometimes you're like that and you're like, oh, okay, great, it's in, perfect. What I like to do is, to make sure it's really seated, I like to kind of move it around. I mean, you veteran guys would know this, but see how I let it go a little bit, and for sure that's in the channel on all 360 degrees. And you can tell because that's how it should align. The circlip should be right against that outside race, not touching the inside. Yeah, you can see how like loose that inside bearing is. Anyway, I'm gonna do this other one, hopefully on camera, and afterwards I need to press this guy in there. So we'll need to figure that out without messing up the bearings. Alright, let me set you down. I'm also low on battery because I plugged you guys in the charger for a little bit and it's got like 30%. Or I'll be back. Okay, so now let's push the other one out. Let's get that bearing out. But if you may notice, I have a flat piece right here. But I just want to, there's about, I don't know, a 1/4 inch, 8 millimeters or so, 5 millimeters. I just want to break that bind because that's the initial sort of where all the force is at that I've noticed. So I want to break that first. And then we'll figure out how to get the rest out. Because I feel like that's where most of the force is on the other one. That way it doesn't have to be so sketch. I always like to look at everything before I put any pressure on it. Make sure it's centered. I'm overdoing this, I'm sure. The pros are like, you idiot, just get on with it. Okay. There it is. That's what I wanted. Okay, so that should be enough to get the initial bind out. Now we got to figure out how to drive it the rest of the way. So that's pretty flush now, so I got to drive it the rest of the way out. By the way, when you're doing this, you're pushing on the ball bearings themselves, so that wheel bearing is pretty much ruined, just in case you guys had any grand thoughts of reusing it. Okay, let's see. I wish I had a cylinder that was as big as this outer circumference, but I do not. This is the biggest that I have, and it's just the size, just the right size of the bearing outer race itself. So got to do something a little bit sketch again, and I'm gonna come back to you guys because I'm out of battery while I do this. Okay, that's what I came up with. So let's see how that does. Here's, you see this big piece of particle board? I know you guys will think it's really funny, but I don't like to have any kind of risk in case some of these end up being projectiles. So I know some of the old school guys are like, oh, you big pussy, but hey, I'm actually watching this from the camera, which conveniently works out. There we go. So it's coming down. That's what we want. there should be another loud bind at the very end. There we go. All right, let's see the damage. Take these out. Take my ghetto wood blocks out. There you go. So I'm going to clean this up, and time to press on the other one. Pressing them on is a little bit easier. That's the old bearing that's Dunzo. By the way, I'm going to show you guys what these things are. You may not be familiar, but this comes like in a kit. So I'll just show you. So it comes in one of these like bushing kits. I think this was like $100 from who knows where, eBay or something. And these ones are not particularly fancy, but it comes in all these different sizes that you could put control arms in and swap bushings with. So they have a smaller version of this too. I don't have it here, but I use it for mountain bikes. So anyway, all right, I'm gonna turn this off again. I'm gonna charge this GoPro and be right back. Okay, so what I like to do to get this started, it's kind of a hard angle here, but there is no front or back to this that I've noticed. So both sides are the same. They're both beveled right here on each side. So if I was to do this again, I would have put these in the freezer overnight so that it goes in a little bit easier. The same with the hub flanges themselves too. Put them in the freezer. Take these out first, leave those in until you're ready to put them in. But this, what I like to do is to just get them started like that. And you can kind of eyeball it, and I have my rubber mallet, just hit it a little bit where it looks a little off. Make sure you're hitting the outer race, not the actual bearing cover itself. So, okay, I'm gonna switch angles and I'm gonna prep this in the press. Okay, you see this flat section here? It's actually a great place to put something like that. Okay, so it'll be a flat spot to do this. So that makes it super convenient. Okay. Oh, it's a little cockeyed. My little hand job was a little cockeyed. Let me see if I can fix that. Yep. Okay. Okay, that's nice and centered. So what we can do is initially just use this. I lied. I'll change it up a little bit. A little more. Okay, so like I said earlier, this is almost exactly the same circumference size as the outer race of the bearing, which is what you want to push on. It's the only one I have that fits the best. It's not quite perfect, but it will do the job. Okay. There we go. So I don't have my protective piece of wood because I feel a little more comfortable about this, even though my press is a little wobbly. I need to bolt this to the floor that I have here. You'll know when you bottom it out, and you want to bottom it out. But once you bottom it out, don't be like Hercules and try to push it more. Yep, right there. There we go, that's it. Okay. Let's toss that circlip on here. This thing was super grimy and gross, so I have to clean that up off camera. Let's see. It's always easier when no one's watching, right? Okay. Okay. So that's what I mean by I like to make sure it's really in there. Because if you notice that first release, I actually thought it was in there, but it wasn't. That looks good. Alright, I'll come back to you guys while I rig up the other situation for the hubs. Oh, that reminds me. We gotta press in the ARPs first into these guys, otherwise you are gonna have to buy new bearings. You have to pull these out again. I'll be back. Okay, let me show you how I press in these studs. Super easy by comparison. I just found the socket. This one happens to be 30, but you can use whatever size you want. That works. Most important part is, oh, let me just show you. Stick that through. You're gonna want to press the knurl into the hub flange, and most important is when you're doing this that it's flat right there. The mating surface is flat. Okay, so this will just take a minute. You can also do this on the car on the fronts. You can't do these on the rears because there's a special tool which I might show you guys later. You can do it in the car. That's it. But doing it on the car only works with standard length studs, not the extended ones. Okay, so that's it for this. Okay guys, this is how I'm gonna press the hub into the knuckle. So that has to go like that, right? So what I found a, let's see, that doesn't go there. I found a perfect fit for this to actually fit right around there. So it's a perfect circumference. So that works. That makes it easy. That gives me a flat plane. Ideal. Now I gotta press this guy in like that. But just a reminder that when you're pressing this in, you want to make sure that you're on that inner race, because that's the piece that's going to press in. So I found one of these cylindrical things, whatever it's called, that fits the perfect circumference of that. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry if you can't. Light's bad. Okay. So let's set this up. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm gonna recenter it a little bit. There we go. That looks good. That doesn't sound so good, but it's getting in there. You'll know when to stop. You gotta go all the way. There we go. That's it. Yep. That spins real nice. How a new hub should feel, I think. Right there. So that's kind of it. This goes back on the car. Hope that helped. Okay guys, just to recap, these were the original Mazda NC hubs. These go in the trash, unless, I mean, I suppose you could reuse them for daily driving or so. So if anybody wants these, just leave in the comments. I'll hang on to them for a while. I'll ship them to you. And then these are the old bearings. So these get pressed out. This is definitely in the trash. Nobody wants those. And these are the new ones. All right, so I'm trying to think if, don't forget the circ clip that goes in here, and that should be it. All right, hope that helped.